Good morning, John Sabo, Far East Adventure Travel on the Annapurna Circuit, trekking in Nepal. And right now we are in between the village of Tal and Dhranapani. We spent the night in Tal and it was a nice rest, a good, much needed rest after trying to overcome some of this cold that I'm dealing with right now. So we'll do another light day today, maybe 2 to 3 hours of trekking before reaching Dhranapani. I'm right now on one of the suspension bridges, one of the many that cross the Marshyangdi river here in Nepal. It's absolutely stunning scenery.
It's a shame that many drive through this part of the circuit for upper Annapurna trekking and stays miss the epic river and waterfall views in this portion of the trail. The suspension bridge crossings that put you right in the middle of the energy path of the mighty Marshyangdi are breathtaking. This is now the third day of trekking, and the mornings are feeling a little colder and crisper. So it's important to get out right after the sun has risen so there's plenty of time to walk in the warmer temps. In keeping with the original trail, which does take a little longer to walk, we have the opportunity to trek through more little villages for leisurely breaks. Across the valley, what looks like a thin ledge carved out of the mountainside is the road that transports people and goods.
Here on the Annapurna Circuit, the contrast between new trail and old trail is quite severe. The old trail I'm on right now is, of course, a typical trekking trail with some stone steps. Across the river, the new road that we sometimes have to use in order to make our way up the Annapurna Circuit.
From a distance, the jeeps traveling the road almost appear to be literally on the edge of the cliff as they meander along. Another epic suspension bridge crossing with sweeping views of the Marshyangdi and surrounding valley. If you're scared of heights, you'll eventually get used to these crossings. You have to. There's no other way. After reaching Dhranapani, an important crossroads and trekking permit check-in office, we agreed to just make this a lunch stop rather than an overnight stay and move a little further up the valley to Danaqyu village, where we'd spend the night. This is an important crossroads where the Manaslu Trail meets up with the Annapurna Circuit. The Manaslu area was affected by the earthquakes of 2015, but things have since normalized. The Nepalese army, along with help from locals and NGOs, have cleared away the fallen rocks from the trails over the past year. Prince Harry was even seen in this region in 2016, trekking and pitching in to help rebuild a school that had been damaged. Dhranapani is a major crossroads for trekkers on the Annapurna Circuit and the Manaslu Trail, so it's nice to kick back in a little village that has less traffic. Because there are so many spots like Danakyu on the Annapurna Circuit with great lodges, you could trek this trail a few times and have a completely different experience. This season, following the devastating earthquakes, was quiet to begin with. It will be another night in a lodge as the only guests. The next day's destination was Chame, the administration center of Manang District. We had some climbing to tackle as our first challenge of the day, over 450 meters up to Timang. The promise of views of Manaslu and Annapurna II was motivating and helpful on a climb first thing in the morning. More bridges to cross and animals like big yaks to yield to.
Well, he's a big one, eh? Look at that. Yeah, we'll stay right clear of him.
It's hit or miss whether you'll see any of the Manaslu massif once you reach Timang. On this day, we missed.
So that's Himchuli, and that's all part of the Mansalu range. Yeah.
Manaslu is the 8th highest mountain in the world, first summited by Japanese mountaineers in 1956. Just as the British have claimed Everest as their mountain, the Japanese consider Manaslu a Japanese mountain. But just before our lunch stop at Koto on the way to Chame, we caught the first glimpse of Annapurna II. At 7,937 meters, the second highest peak in the Six Mountain Range. It was a magnificent sight and a wonderful welcome to this part of the region. The Annapurna translation from Sanskrit means full of food, which makes sense as the normal translation is goddess of the harvests, or the kitchen goddess, the mother who feeds. Chame is the headquarters of Manang District, which is the least populated district in all of Nepal, with a total count of just over 6,500. Many Manangies are also traders, having been given special permission by King Mahendra in the 1970s to trade in Southeast Asia. Customs duties were waived, and many now reside mostly in the Kathmandu Valley. They import electronics, watches, and other items, and are allowed to export goods like precious stones, metals, and herbs, among other things. The largest ethnic group in Manang District are the Gurung people, who over centuries have adopted Tibetan Buddhism. The signs of this are evident in the village, with Buddhist stupas that hold relics and the remains sometimes of lamas, and mani walls for prayer. The next day, we left for Lower Pisang village as our next destination. Not far outside of Chame, we came across what I had been observing, especially in this part of Nepal, signs of a new era of tourism, with young Nepali entrepreneurs bringing new ideas from the outside, like this apple orchard using the latest strains in apple production. I spoke with the owner of this large orchard, Samraj Gurung, about his inspiration for this new breed of apple orchard.
My name is Samraj Gurung. I'm from Manang. This is my apple farm in Manang. My company name is Agro Manang. Yeah.
So what gave you the idea, Samraj, to start an apple farm in the middle of the Annapurna Circuit?
No, basically this was an apple farm from before. This is a very old apple farm. It started by my grandfather. Yeah, and we just recently took over 3 years back. We just took over the farm because no one was taking care of it, and it was in very bad state. So then we did a lot of research in the internet about the farms in abroad, and we came up with this high density apple farm.
Yes, because I noticed when we were trekking up the trail that this is
Yes.
not like a traditional apple orchard in
Right,
Nepal.
right.
These are the latest trees that many orchards, like you said, in abroad or in Western countries use now for farming.
Yes. Yes, this is a different type. This is first time in Nepal, and we learned this from Canada, Ontario. You said Ontario, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the place, and we like the concept of it, and so this is the first time we're trying it, and it's a good success, just like what we hoped for. Yeah.
And you were saying you grow 3 different varieties of apples here?
Yes, we grow Gala, is one type. Then right now, Golden Delicious, and maybe after 2 weeks, Fuji. So just 3 types of apples.
And this year your crop is lower, but you expect to have double the size of crop by next year, you were saying?
Next year, yeah. This is the first year it's given fruit. So this year we have around 40,000 kilos of apples. Next year, hopefully 80,000, and next year more.
And this is for the domestic market?
Yeah, just for this year is just only for the village and the tourists. Next year we will supply to the city and hopefully abroad also.
And if people are trekking in the Annapurna Circuit, they can stop at your apple orchard here,
Yeah, sure.
and have a tea and have,
Just have a tea
some
and look at
apples.
the apple farm. Yeah. Next year we are planning to have an apple farm visit too for the tourists.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
After a tea and some fresh, crisp, golden delicious apples from Samraj's orchard, we were back on the trail. Hari, my guide, who is Gurung himself, joins in with a local senior for a mid-morning Buddhist chant. We stopped for a break at Dukapakari, home of the Paunga Danda rock wall, or gateway to heaven, a massive mountain of stone that literally looks like a giant wall reaching towards the sky. Locals believe that all souls of the deceased must ascend Paunga Danda after leaving their bodies. We arrived at our stop for the night, Pisang. The area consists of a lower village at 3,200 meters and an upper, more traditional old Tibetan-style walled village at 3,300 meters. The lower village had more lodge choices and shops, so we opted for a night there.
Hi, John Sabo, Far East Adventure Travel. Trekking now on day 5 of the Annapurna Circuit in the village of Lower Pisang. And very much now feels like Tibet here. We're higher up. It is very dry as the Annapurna Range shelters the monsoon from this area, giving it that real Tibetan feel. And as you can see behind me, the Mani wall of prayer wheels. So the culture's changed, the environment's changed, and it's definitely colder up here.
Mani walls, the stone walls made of tablets with the inscription Om Mani Padme Om, meaning jewel in the lotus, are found everywhere here. Pisang reminds me of Nepal's Upper Mustang Tibetan Buddhist region and Tibet itself, environmentally and culturally. Many residents leave for the Kathmandu Valley or other places during the winter months, but we were still able to see some traditional village life. Spinning prayer wheels, and the smell of juniper burning as Buddhist offerings. Next time on Far East Adventure Travel, trekking the Great Annapurna Circuit, Nepal continues.